Scaling Sessions. I'm your host, Todd Westra, and today we're going to be talking about all sorts of good stuff regarding what we call the fourth stage in your growth and scaling process. The fourth stage really focuses on implementation. It's the kind of stuff that keeps your business going over and over again, and we most people just refer to them as sales, marketing, and product development. We may throw in a fourth there of customer success, but these four areas of your business are the parts of your business that you're constantly working on in an effort to grow and scale your business. So as we get ready to bring in our guests, I want you to be thinking about your business. Think about what you have done to try and create a repetitive process of constantly tweaking and modifying your sales, marketing, and product development and customer success in an effort to grow and scale your business. These three guests that we're bringing on today are amazing. They have a lot of experience in growth and scaling, not only their own companies, but all three are directly integrated with other companies and helping them build and grow and scale their companies. And all four of us have talked offline. This is a problem we see in almost every company. The alignment of these things, of these four teams in your company, literally are the make or break of whether or not you are positioned to grow and scale. So we hope you enjoy this session. It's going to be 30 minutes of goodness, and we just can't say enough good things about how this fourth stage can help you grow and scale. So we're going to invite our guests in. We've got today Steve Querio coming all the way from Wisconsin. And Casey, she's a little bit all over the place. She's sometimes in California, sometimes in Indiana, sometimes in Florida. She's one of those get it done girls, and she is awesome in this growth and scaling area. And we have Jordan. Everyone on here knows Jordan. He's kind of one of those can't miss faces on LinkedIn. If you follow anything on LinkedIn, you'll see Jordan because he is a master at getting himself known and being out there on LinkedIn. So thanks for being here, you guys. Let's start off with just a quick intro. Why don't we go Steve, Casey, Jordan? Tell us who you are and what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll start off here. My name is Steve Querio, and I run Innova Group, which is a umbrella company, I would say. And underneath that, we have our Power Group and its products and training. So we specifically work in the health and wellness arena, and we help mainly, to be more specific in that arena, we mainly work in the neuromusculoskeletal space. So that's quite a niche. We work with providers that are specific to nerve, joint, muscle, functional medicine, those sorts of providers. So
neuromuscular, that is quite a niche. I mean, that is so specific. I love it. Steve, tell us a little highlight. I mean, what's a company, what's a brand you've worked with that you've been able to help grow and scale?
Well, we work with some hospitals, some orthopedic clinics, chiros, because they're in that niche as well. My background is in healthcare, so I kind of transitioned from a practice into more of the help and growing other practices. So our main product, the training product, is called Power Practice, and that is combined in with implementing growth strategies for those types of practices.
I love it. So literally, brain surgeons, neuropathy people, like all those back and all these guys are like some of the most brilliant people in the world, but they need people like us. They need people like you, Steve, who is an expert in messaging and getting their brand out there. And I love that you have this program for them because not all of them are business smart. They're really smart, but they're not business smart.
Yeah,
and I love
exactly.
I love you're able to take them to that next level to actually help them get their products and services out there. Thank you.
Yep.
Love it, Steve. Casey, let's hit you next. What's going on?
Awesome. I just want to say, Steve, it's really interesting. It's relevant to some of my clients that I've just recently worked with who are chiropractors. And so I've kind of come out of that space as well. I'm a marketer too. My name is Mosby. I'm a growth marketer. I help businesses grow and scale their business. I've recently teamed up with Todd as well over at Moku, and we're working on, some products and offerings to really help businesses get to that next stage of growth and revenue. I've been in this space for, several years now. I have a psychology background, but I really love working with companies that are driven by a mission that can truly make a difference. I'm super interested in supporting businesses, especially in health and wellness. So that's why, I was working with chiropractors and nutritionists and functional medicine. That's why, Steve, when you mentioned that, I kind of lit up, because I'm like, ooh, because I've done so much copywriting in the past, few months on for chiropractors and functional medicine and in the nutrition space and Chinese medicine and things like that. And so when you're a marketer and you're serving a client, it's funny because sometimes you become immersed in what their offering is, and you have to educate yourself so that you can get in the headspace of who they're serving and what their problems are. And me being from a copywriting background and stuff, it's when you kind of fully take that on when you're serving your clients really well. So I was like, yeah, Steve, we can talk more about all of that. I love that topic.
Awesome.
Anyways, it's a little bit about me.
I love it.
Pass it on over to Jordan, unless Todd, you want to.
Casey, no, Casey's amazing. She's an amazing copywriter. She's great at messaging. She's helped me so many times in the past, really fix my messaging. And I think all of us, all four of us on this call have strong marketing backgrounds, and all of us, it's kind of amazing to talk to other marketers and have them review your stuff, because we're so used to punching holes in other people's messaging. It's kind of nice to get someone to be like, hey, why are you saying this? And Casey does that to me on a regular basis. I love it.
Yeah, I've learned a lot of really great strategies, and there's always a constant iteration too. It's great to get feedback from other marketers as well, and to constantly try to improve the messaging, because things are always changing. People change, offers change. So yeah.
Awesome. Jordan, welcome to the show, man. Tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Yeah, so I've got a company called Blaze Your Own Trail Consulting, and we help businesses and entrepreneurs build authority and really teach them how to monetize social media. So what does that mean? Well, we coach, we teach, we train, we mentor, we educate, and really our goal is to really help them leverage their own unique skill set and bring it to the marketplace to get more visibility, build community, build audience, build relationships, not transactions. We want to build strong relationships, and then that in turn will turn into the revenue for their business. I also host a podcast, Blaze Your Own Trail. You guys are probably catching on to the theme. I'm big into trailblazers and blazing a trail. And I think a lot of people, especially the four people that are here, probably resonate with being trailblazers. And so I just really love helping. I love, similar to Casey, I love working with businesses that have a great mission, that are out to create positive impact in the world.
I love it. And Jordan has also been a longtime friend and big influence on a lot of the decisions I've made in my business. All three of these people here today, not only are they great at marketing, but they're also great at business management. And all four have been involved in growing and scaling their own operations, as well as those of their clients. And so this is an important topic that I'm trying to hit today. Every business, we're gonna make the assumption coming into this conversation that every business has kind of got their foundation set, right? But let's pretend that businesses you're working with are really clear on a mission that they're trying to accomplish. They've got a vision, they've got core values. They're kind of they've got this strong moral foundation, I guess you could say, to where teams are aligned, things are looking great. They've got a really clear client profile that they're hitting. They've got in my business in Moku, we have these 4 stages we talk about, and we're going to assume that everyone's already past that, right? Which, I mean, let's face it, everyone needs help at almost every stage, but we're going to assume that these clients we're talking about today and the people we're trying to reach today have got a great foundation. They're profitable. They're making money. They've got a lot of good things going for them. But there's this final stage we keep running into where I alluded to earlier. it's the crossroads of sales, marketing, product, and customer success. All four of these teams kind of come in and they kind of overlap, and sometimes one is a little bit lopsided. Maybe there's a ton of marketing team and almost no salespeople. Sometimes there's this amazing product team because it may be this really technical thing that there's a huge team developing the product all the time. No sales and very little marketing, going on there. What do you guys see? And I'm going to open this up to anyone. What do you guys see as a quick fix to kind of helping these teams kind of get off that lopsidedness and focus on building a client journey that kind of works for that company? Any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's about. I think you said the key word. It's team. There's so much. I spent 15 years in corporate, and everyone's divided. It's like, why is everyone divided? Why is marketing yelling at sales, sales yelling at marketing? This department's like, you got to figure out, how do we actually collaborate with each other? How do we get on the same page? Because if you're not on the same page, the exact thing that you alluded to, Todd, it happens, right? Because you got too many people focusing on this, two people focusing on this, but none of it's cohesive.
Right.
And you got to figure out a way, like, how do we make this cohesive for everyone?
Right. Agree. Steve, do you see this in the medical field at all? What do you see as that?
Yeah, that's like the characteristic of every medical practice out there. One of the things that I've learned over time is that one of the problems that businesses in general are failing at in a way is that the systems aspect of things is lacking. So they'll have teams, but the systems for any of the processes that have to occur over and over again, they lack within the business or the practice. So by being able to implement some form of a standard process that happens over and over and over again, and that doesn't really sway too much, by implementing systems like that, it really can improve how the business functions.
Right. Systems are a huge piece of fixing the problem, right? I mean, when you have a system, you know what to expect, and the clients know what to expect. The lead knows what to expect. It's a consistent experience with you. If I go and engage on their website, for example, and one day it's having me pre-register for an appointment, and I go through that, and 2 months later I go back for a return visit, and it's like, yeah, just show up. And anyway, consistency helps leads and helps clients return easier into that environment where they convert to something.
Yep.
Casey, what are your thoughts on that whole thing?
I totally agree. I get excited when Steve's like, yeah, systems, processes, standard operating procedures, like having those written out, but also creating them in a way where they can also be innovated upon as needed, so that there's an opportunity for there to be like communication, and that relationships are being nurtured, not only within the organization, but then also with the customers or clients as well. And I think that a lot of that falls back on the company culture and the mission and the values, and that people are really inspired to that they're being led and excited from that place. Whatever the company culture looks like, for me, it's just coming from a place of being of service, giving value and nurturing those relationships. But definitely the systems, the procedures, having something in place, that structure, that strong structure that creates consistency, that creates expectations to be clear and simple, so that people find that flow in their work and in their communication.
And on top of that, really, it builds consistency for the client experience and for your employees, but it also creates a simplified client journey. And we talk a lot. I've talked to all three of you about offline about client journeys. And client journey, for those that don't understand the topic of today, simplifying your client journey, this whole thing has to do with when a lead enters into your ecosystem, whether they downloaded a PDF or they're listening to this LinkedIn Live or they're doing something, all of them enter your funnel. and you can call it a funnel, you can call it a pipeline, you can call it whatever you want, but they somehow enter your ecosystem. And when you have a client journey that's confusing, say they watch this and they still don't know what to do, they don't progress. They don't move anywhere. They just stay a lead. And I think a lot of people listening have a CRM full of great potential leads, but they're stuck at the beginning of the journey. They haven't even had an invitation to do anything else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Jordan, you and I have talked extensively about client journeys. What do you see as a big problem with most people's client journey, and how they can dumb it down to where people know what to do?
Yeah. Well, I think there's a lot of people that are going after dessert before the appetizer. I see this way too often. And so what do I mean by that? Well, if somebody's entering your funnel or your pipeline, right, I've opted into something. Now you've got that data. Like, what are you going to do with it? What's your next action? Have you built out your communication channel, your structure, your workflows to add value to that lead and nurture that lead? Because what I see, and this happens with a lot of my coaching clients, is they've got this email list, but they've never used it. It's like, what do you have this pool of people, but you've never actually communicated with them? How do you expect them to turn into a paying client? And so you have to have, like Casey said, like you said, like Steve said, a system, a process, a workflow, something that's going to bring them along the journey to educate them and to actually get them to say, wow, I want to book time with you. I need more information. I really love what you did, right? Because if I could tell you, the easiest way to see if your client journey is broken is when you're sending stuff out and no one says anything back, right? If you're consistently have output, but you've got no one replying to what you're up to, you probably have got to fix part of that system that you've built.
No doubt. And Jordan was razzing me a couple of weeks ago about newsletters. I encourage all my clients to build a newsletter. I'm really bad at being consistent with my newsletters. I've got one going out today. So for those of you who want to subscribe, go jump on. And there's my lead funnel entrance, right? I just popped a little lower third for the first time. By the way, I'm horrible at Restream. I don't know where that little star background came from, and the color was kind of off. But, showing an entrance to your funnel is the first step in building a client journey, right?
Yep.
It does you no good to get on a show like this or to be putting yourself out there if you don't have a place to send people to go. And so that's the simplest part of your client journey, is finding that entrance point. Casey, you are a master with words. You're really good at building these. What is your take on kind of simplifying and dumbing down the client journey?
Well, I think it's really important to first primarily understand your client and meet them where they are. And if you don't know where they are, learn about them. Ask them questions. Sometimes I think a lot of companies, they want to like give and be the authority and tell, and that's great. I think that's really great, but it's not about you. It's about them. It's about who you're serving. And if you don't know where they're at or what they're going through or what their main problems are really, and speaking it to them in their own language and meeting them exactly where they are, you're not going to be able to go like guide them on that journey to the next step and the next step if you're not meeting them exactly where they're at. And so I think sometimes there's a disconnect with companies doing that and meeting them where they're at. And so that takes education, that takes asking questions, that takes jumping on calls and really doing that discovery phase. After that, then it comes to, say you have a list already and you're like, I don't even know where to begin with that. Well, that's where I love segmentation. I like a list to me that is unnurtured and cold is like a blank canvas that I love. Like, I'm just like, I can't wait to get in there and start tagging these people based on the, what actions they take. There's a lot of really great software and tools out there now that you can use in a business to be really strategic and ask certain questions and then track those behaviors. If a person like clicks on something inside of the email, then you know that, oh, they're interested in that. So I'm going to tag that and then, that adds relevancy to their data file. And you can then go deeper with that and start segmenting your list so that you can create relationships with people that are relevant to what they're interested in based on their behaviors. And so I think that that's a really fun thing that I've started dabbling in and find really, really valuable. because again, yeah, it's meeting those people where they're at, and then so that you can guide them on the journey. And then I would also say, you know, in terms, it's building deeper relationships, it's connecting with them more deeply in what they're interested in. And you may find some insights and things that you didn't even realize that they were interested in. And then that can inform what new products you might create, or how you might make some tweaks to your offerings based on, you know, some insights you didn't even know before because you were just guessing, you know. And so I think that, yeah.
I think that's like a perfect segue into like what Steve does. I mean, Steve is so good at taking these doctors who have these clients that come in and they register and they got their name, they got their email, they got all this stuff. I know that Steve builds some really cool systems. Steve, why don't you tell us a little bit about how you take the people coming into these offices and lead them into return client appointments and things like that? I know this is one thing that you do really, really well.
Yeah, I love what Casey says, because you have to have a filtering system, because you certainly don't want to have your messages for somebody who comes in with a knee complaint, and you're sending them information on shoulder pain, right? The messaging just doesn't work there. And so there's a couple of reasons why this is important. Number one, obviously, the most obvious reason is because you want to talk specifically to that type of patient or that type of client or customer. The second reason is that when you're able to filter like that and you're sending email, for example, your open rates are much higher, right? Which allows the systems to continue to improve your open rates, right? If you're sending things to people, emails to people, for example, that are never opening your information that you're sending them, it's going to decrease your scoring, so to say, and you just will not be able to get to those people much anymore. So it's important
and people opt out, which is not what you want.
Yep. So you have to be able to have that messaging match and be able to continue to filter, and not just filter once. You can continue to filter more and more, and that creates these buckets for you that allow you to really send pertinent information to people.
Exactly. And listen, one of the things that I love about client journeys is the fact that typically there's a destination in mind. You have so many influencers out there saying, build your list, get an email list, get a phone list, get a text list, get all this stuff going. But without having an end in mind, the journey gets really boring really fast. And I think that leads understand that you're not really taking me anywhere, and they do opt out. Jordan, what do you do to try and keep the journey clear? I mean, you blaze your own trail, but I also know you're really smart about teasing in almost every message you do into a call to action. What tell us about how you do that?
Yeah, I mean, well, it's like, what do you want them to do next, right? If it's great to send people info, but like you said, there has to be an entry point somewhere. So whether that's, hey, check out this resource, whether that's, hey, I'd love to, man, I really think that you're a great ideal fit. Why don't we actually talk so I can game plan and strategize with you? So let's take this offline and actually jump on what Casey said, a discovery call. We have to discover stuff. We need insights. We need data. We need information. But if we're not offering that in our messaging and along the journey, they're never going to show up, right? Like, if you could put content out all day long, but if it's just a video and you're not telling people what to do next, they're never going to get there. So that's really the point, is we have to spell it out for people. Literally, we have to tell them. It's almost like we're saying, here's your call to action.
Right.
But if you don't spell that out, people aren't going to take action. They're not going to move. They're going to get confused.
Casey, how do you help your clients kind of understand what that do you ever map it out? Like, how do people really understand how to simplify this client journey?
Yeah, I have mapped it out. There are different systems that are out there that exist. Sometimes marketers use funnels, that's a buzzword in the industry. There's also the marketing flywheel, which I'm familiar with as well, which is attract, engage, convert, and delight. And that's another, system that you can use, but it's going to be unique and individual for each business, based on the different offerings, based on, who is your list and where are they coming in from, and what you want to use to communicate. So it depends if you're using email or text or just social media, or a combination of all those things. So it can get pretty detailed and deep. And I would suggest mapping it out. I've used software like Miro, and just post it up and then add everything in, and add all the email sequences and things, and lay it all out there, and use that as kind of my map. I've been blessed to work with some amazing people on my journey who have really showed me, some awesome tips for that. And I'm always still iterating my process as well, but that's something that I've used to help my clients is mapping out those journeys using something like Miro, and just that's pretty much it. But
I love it.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
love Miro. Miro is a fantastic product. And just to go off of what Casey just said, I'm a very visual person.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of people, when you are able to create these, using diagramming tools and be able to show them the process of what's going to happen, they really get a better understanding of what you're doing and how that's going to help them.
I love it. For several years, I helped a lot of small businesses build their funnels and build their sequences and text messaging sequences. And the funniest thing that I think I ever heard was, "Hey, just build me a funnel that converts." And I'm like, converts to what? There are so many layers to this conversion process. Jordan and Casey, all three of you guys have talked about this already, but segmenting your leads into, okay, these guys are, for Jordan, it's like, okay, here's a business founder. They've been in business 3 to 5 years. I'm going to send them a different message than I am to these guys who are a startup founder, right? And the segmenting is so key. And the calls to action are so key, because you really can't please everybody. And Steve started off this conversation with talking about his niche. Listen, he knows how to help these specific neurological service providers message to their clients. He's really good at that. Chances are his skills translate into a lot of other verticals, but he's really good at that specific niche. And as he segments his potential clients, he finds that he does a much better job performing as a business owner with those people than, say, a shoe store, whatever. Going random here, but this is the truth. For those of you who are struggling to segment and struggling to simplify your client journey, chances are there's a specialist in your niche who knows exactly how to message the people in your niche. And I say, look for them. What's your guys' opinion on people working with specialists who kind of come into their vertical and help them out?
I think it's huge, right? It's huge to get an outsider's perspective. You got to get somebody that doesn't live in the day to day that can kind of take an outside look and give you some other insights that you wouldn't be able to come up with. So, whether it's me, investing in coaches for my business, or leadership coaches,
Right.
or mindset coaches, we always need people. We need to be connected. And there's some insights that Casey said that Steve shared. I'm like, man, that's fantastic, right? But you don't get it if you don't have other people around you, if you don't surround yourself with people, and you don't network, and you don't actually put yourself out there and say, I need help, because here's the truth. We all need help every day. We all, there's certain things that come up that we just don't understand it. And if you can get someone that specializes in that exact thing, it's going to really move the needle for your business.
Exactly. And here goes my opt-in here at the bottom, because why not? With Moku.com is an organization that I built to try and help companies do this alignment. And all four of us, we are all providers who try to offer these types of services to our in our own niches. And I would say that you will be you'll be enhanced as you click on every one of the profiles of the guests on today's show and learn to understand how they can help you grow and scale your business. Everyone, I would say, just in closing, every business that gets past launch phase is a success, in my opinion. It is so hard to launch a business and build a consistent revenue stream. But once you're past it, we use the analogy of the rocket, and once you've kind of launched off the earth and you're in orbit and you're looking around trying to figure out, okay, what do I do next? All I've been thinking about is launching. And now that I'm making money, where do I channel my energy and my resources so that this business can really grow and scale and do the things that I want to do with it? Know your exit plan, know your client avatar, learn how to build and construct a revenue operations system with sales, marketing, and product and customer success teams that are aligned in one place, all starting with your client journey. But after that, which we're not covering today, but in future lives, your customer journey. Once you've onboarded a client, what do you do with them so that they're really happy and want to move forward and be your biggest ambassador? These are all parts of your growth and scaling strategy. And I highly recommend connecting with a strategist who knows how to help you with these journeys. All four of these people, these three guests, are awesome. They're awesome at helping you navigate this thing. And as I learn to use this Restream a little bit better and do these lives a little more efficiently, I want to help everyone out there understand that when you've launched and you're successful, I call that a huge, huge success. But if you have a plan, if you have an end goal for your business, don't hesitate to tap into someone else, a third-party person, to come in and help you navigate, whether you're in neurosciences or launching courses or just trying to build and grow your first startup. Find someone to help you, and I promise it'll end well for all of you. Any final thoughts from any of you guys before we close this off?
I'd say, Todd, appreciate the invite. Great meeting, Steve and Casey. Definitely a lot of good insights. I think at the end of the day is what I would love to say is, there's going to be a point when you need help. Don't wait till you need it. Get it before that, because when you need it, you're going to be in a situation that you may not be able to turn around. So it's important that you reach out, even if, and again, like for me, if I can't help you, I'll tell you. Like, I can't help you, but Casey might be able to. I can refer you to Steve. I can refer you to Todd, because I don't do everything. I don't specialize in every area, but you are going to need someone's help. It may not be one of the four of us, but it might be someone else that's out there that specifically has strategies for your exact vertical. So I would just say, don't be afraid. The worst, question is the one that you don't ask. So don't be afraid to reach out to people, and don't be afraid to ask for help.
Love it. Love it. Well, you guys have been awesome guests, and I appreciate all of you for what you do every day. And wishing all the rest of you a happy day. And thanks for joining the Growth and Scaling Sessions, our gas sessions, sponsored by Moku. We'll see you later.
I think